Welcome back to Dead Reckoning, the Human Life Expectancy channel. As we said in our last video, traditional technologies such as energy, water, food, and transportation have a big impact on HLE. This is the first of 4 videos on these traditional technologies, and this one will focus on energy. Energy is crucial for economic growth, poverty alleviation, improved living standards, and increased HLE. It allows machines to replace manual labor, greatly enhancing productivity and improving standards of living. Energy keeps us warm, creates clean water, produces more food, and transports us where we want to go, enhancing the number and the quality of our lives. New renewable sources of energy, such as solar and wind, could also help slow climate change, addressing this existential risk. Energy also powers information technology, such as smartphones and the internet, resulting in better communication, information, and entertainment, further contributing to health, human culture, and life expectancy. Also, in less developed countries, gas and electric cooking and heating appliances generate far less indoor air pollution than cow dung or wood that they often replace, reducing deaths from lung diseases. As a result, providing energy to those who currently do not have energy is one of the best things we can do to enhance global HLE. However, as of 2016, 13% of the global population, or approximately 1 billion people, did not have access to energy. These are predominantly people of color in less developed countries, a situation we must work together to rectify. Multiple technologies are used to generate electricity. Currently, about 84% of global energy is generated from fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, 7% from hydropower, 4% from nuclear power, and about 5% from renewable sources such as wind and solar energy. However, carbon-based energy technologies are also a key driver of climate change, which threatens human health and well-being in many other ways, including more extreme weather events, wildfire, decreased air quality, diseases transmitted by insects, food, and water, displacement, and conflict. Extreme heat causes heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and deaths from cardiovascular failure. Severe weather causes injuries, fatalities, and mental health impacts. Air pollution causes asthma, lung cancer, COPD, and cardiovascular disease. Heat broadens the habitat of vectors such as mosquitoes, increasing deaths from malaria and many other diseases. Increasing allergens associated with climate change also increase allergies and asthma. Climate change also reduces water quality, resulting in higher incidence of cholera and other waterborne diseases. It also impacts the supply of water and food, increasing deaths from malnutrition and diarrheal disease. Environmental degradation also leads to forced migration, civic conflict, and mental health impacts. So, how many deaths are caused? One recent study claims that fossil fuel air pollution causes over 10 million deaths a year, almost 1 in 5 deaths globally. The fact that we continue to use them is testament to how important energy is to us. We're literally willing to die for it. While many are appropriately exploring whether these deaths can be reduced by moving to renewables and other energy technologies, we haven't found a single country that's proposed that energy production be dramatically reduced or eliminated to reduce these deaths. Some energy technologies cause more deaths than others. Coal and other carbon-based power generation technologies are major drivers of climate change and air pollution, which are major environmental risks to health. A study from the World Health Organization found that carbon-based energy technologies are a key driver of climate change, which threatens human health and well-being in many ways, causing almost 1 in 5 deaths globally. Other sources put the number much higher because the WHO prediction does not account for climate-related factors that could affect death rates, such as population displacement and reductions in labor productivity from farmers due to increased heat, and illnesses and deaths tied to disruption in health services caused by extreme weather and climate events. Another study found that reducing global air pollution levels to meet the World Health Organization guidelines would boost average life expectancy by 2.2 years, adding 17 billion life years to the planet's population. Biomass energy production also causes deaths because it results in carbon emissions and pollution, but at a much lower volume. Nuclear energy has a much better record. Not only is nuclear fission a carbon-free process, but it's over 500 times safer than coal and 40 times safer than even the safest fossil fuel. And even that reflects high estimates of deaths from Chernobyl and Fukushima. Even if we add deaths from nuclear war, which is a bit of an outrageous thing to do because nuclear weapons use a completely different type of uranium, a different technology, and are used with the expressed intent to harm, which of course nuclear energy is not, that still leaves nuclear energy safer than any carbon-based energy technology and less than 1/10 as risky as coal. A nuclear power plant cannot explode like a nuclear weapon because the fuel for uranium reactions is not enriched enough. And nuclear weapons require precise explosions to force fuel into a small enough volume to go supercritical. Still, many reactors require continuous temperature control to prevent a core meltdown, which has occurred on a few occasions through accident or natural disaster, releasing radiation and making the surrounding area uninhabitable, as happened in Chernobyl. Plants must be defended against theft of nuclear material and attack by enemy military planes or missiles. We'll discuss this further in our video on New Ways to Die. Modern nuclear fission reactor designs have had numerous safety improvements since the first generation nuclear reactors. Current reactors in operation around the world are second or third generation systems of multiple types. Pressurized water reactors, gas-cooled reactors, and molten salt reactors, which avoid high pressures and flammable components in the core. Many of these technologies are fail-safe, meaning that if something goes wrong, the nuclear reaction reliably ceases, greatly reducing their risk. There's also small modular reactors that promise to produce carbon-neutral energy more safely and efficiently than traditional nuclear plants. Their smaller size and ability to be mass-produced and transported to where they are needed also makes them particularly appropriate to serve the many who currently do not have access to energy. Next-generation nuclear plants are proposed Generation 4 very high-temperature reactors that could be coupled with a neighboring hydrogen production facility to produce electricity and heat. Nuclear fusion could in principle be used to produce power without creating nuclear waste, but significant scientific and technical obstacles remain. Renewable energy sources are growing quickly and have the potential to replace much of our current carbon-based energy production. A recent report titled "The Sky's the Limit" says that solar and wind energy potential is 100 times as much as the global energy demand. The Carbon Tracker Initiative says the land required for solar panels alone to provide all global energy is 450,000 square kilometers, which is only 0.3% of the global land area. That's less than the land required for fossil fuels today, which in the US alone is 126,000 square kilometers, 1.3% of the country. Renewable energy costs have continued to fall, particularly wind and solar, while oil, gas, and coal from new sources is becoming more difficult to extract, causing their prices to rise. The cost could fall even faster if subsidies that are currently lavished on fossil fuels are refocused on renewable sources of energy. In 2017, the $3.1 trillion of unpriced externalities and direct subsidies for fossil fuels in the US exceeded subsidies for renewable energy by a factor of 19. Because they avoid deaths from pollution and climate change, renewable energy sources have extremely low death rates. This matters from a dead reckoning perspective. Not only do renewable energy sources reduce our carbon emissions and other pollution, they offer the prospect of saving 8.7 million deaths a year caused by fossil fuel technologies. That's more deaths per year than the 6 million that have died globally to date from the COVID pandemic. Many new energy technologies offer the prospect of lower or even zero carbon emissions, reducing air pollution, climate change, and related impacts on HLE. Rather than review all of them here, we refer you to Drawdown, edited by Paul Hawken, and other excellent books on this topic. Drawdown details the technologies that could reduce yearly carbon emissions by over 240 gigatons by 2050. Importantly, technological advances should not only make energy cleaner, but much less expensive. In his book, Abundance, Peter Diamandis suggests that energy could become largely free in the next 20 years. Whether or not this comes to pass, reductions in price are extremely likely. An increasing number of scientists and technologists also believe that merely reducing carbon emissions is not enough, and that active measures will be required to reverse human-caused climate change. Geoengineering is the deliberate, large-scale manipulation of an environmental process that affects the Earth's climate in an attempt to counteract the effects of global warming. Having created energy technologies that prove to be harmful, the core thought behind geoengineering is that we might now intervene in ways that help us and other organisms to survive. This has led to a range of new geoengineering technologies that reflect solar radiation and restore life to seas and the soil. See Thomas Costigan's excellent book, Hacking Planet Earth, for more details. So let's summarize energy's potential impacts on HLE. Energy helps us to live longer, better lives, and new decentralized energy generation technologies should make it possible to provide low-cost energy to the 13% of humanity that currently does not have access. This will unquestionably increase the number, length, and quality of human lives in those regions. The good news is that new, lower carbon energy technologies offer the prospect of slowing or even reducing climate change, further enhancing HLE and lowering costs. The impacts of different energy technologies, both negative and positive, are so large that different assumptions about the type and rate of innovations drive different levels of HLE. Based on our research and advice from experts, we formed different assumptions and incorporated them into multiple scenarios that we use to determine our forecast for HLE. In our next video, we'll explore potential impacts of clean water technology on HLE. In the meantime, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the Human Life Expectancy channel to make sure you don't miss our next videos, and post comments for the topics you'd like to have us cover. Thanks for joining us. Till next time, as we say at Human Life Expectancy Inc., hi hua! Please, do what you can to help yourself and help us all to live longer.